Things like gravy go right in amongst the hairs and stay there. You and I can wipe our smooth bases with a flannel, and we quickly look more or less all right. But the hairy man cannot do that. We can also, if we are careful, eat our meals without spreading food all over our face. But not so the hairy man. Watch carefully next time you see a hairy man eat his lunch, and you will notice that even if he opens his mouth very wide, it is impossible for him to get a spoonful of beef stew or ice cream and chocolate sauce into it without leaving some of it on the hairs. He didn't even bother to open his mouth wide when he ate. As a result, and because he never washed, there were always hundreds of bits of old breakfasts and lunches and suppers sticking to the hairs around his face.
Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own. You know what to do, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your feet full of shoes, you're smart to go down any not so good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, go straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along, you'll start happening.
Tap, tap, tap. Would my grandmother hear me? I thought that she must. The bottle made quite a loud tap each time it struck. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Just so long as nobody came along the corridor. But the door didn't open. I decided to take a risk. Grandmama! I shouted as loudly as I possibly could. Grandmama! It's me! Let me in! I heard her feet coming across the carpet, and the door opened. I went in like an arrow. I've done it! I cried, jumping up and down. I've got it, Grandmama! Look, here it is! I've got a whole bottle of it! She closed the door. She bent down and picked me up and hugged me. Oh, my darling, she cried. Thank heavens you're safe. She took the little bottle from me and read the label aloud. Formula 86, Delayed Action Mouse Maker, she read. This bottle contains 500 doses. You brilliant darling boy. You're a wonder. You're a marvel. How on earth did you get out of her room?
So the big skeleton, the little skeleton and the dog skeleton left the dark, dark cellar, climbed the dark, dark staircase and stepped out into the dark, dark street. They walked past the houses and the shops. They walked past the zoo and the police station. They went into the park. The big skeleton scratched his skull. What shall we do now? He said. Let's play on the swings, said the little skeleton, and throw a stick with the dog and frighten somebody. Good idea, the big skeleton said. So the big skeleton, the little skeleton and the dog skeleton walked round the dark, dark pond, past the dark, dark tennis courts and up to the dark, dark swings. The big skeleton and the little skeleton played on the swings. They threw a stick for the dog. Suddenly something happened. The dog skeleton chased the stick, tripped over a park bench, bumped into a tree. Ow! Then they got mixed up. Is that a toe bone? The little skeleton said. Where does this one go? Said the big skeleton. When they had finished, the big skeleton said, That dog looks a bit funny to me. So he does, said the little skeleton. We've got his tail on the wrong end and his head. Phew, said the dog skeleton, which is wolf backwards. At last the dog was properly put back together again. The big skeleton and the little skeleton sang another song. These bones can bark again, can run around the park again, can frighten people in the dark again.
This all happened a few summers ago. One rather ordinary day by the beach. Not much was going on. I was, as usual, working tirelessly on my bottle top collection, and I stopped to look up for no particular reason. That's when I first saw the thing. I must have stared at it for a while. I mean, it had a really weird look about it, a sad, lost sort of look. Nobody else seemed to notice it was there. Too busy doing beach stuff, I guess. Naturally, I was intrigued. I decided to investigate. It sure didn't do much. It just sat there, looking out of place. I was baffled. It was quite friendly once I started talking to it. I played with the thing for most of the afternoon. It was great fun, yet I couldn't help feeling that something wasn't right. As the hours slouched by, it seemed less and less likely that anybody was coming to take the thing home. There was no denying the unhappy situation, the unhappy truth. It was lost.
One man came to the top of the cliff. How far had he walked? Nobody knows. Where had he come from? Nobody knows. How was he made? Nobody knows.
He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here by these rocks. And his favourite food is roasted fox. Roasted fox? I'm off, Fox said. Goodbye, little mouse, and away he sped. Silly old fox, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a... On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good.
At number 4 Privet Drive. Mr. Vernon Dursley had been woken in the early hours of the morning by a loud hooting noise from his nephew. "Third time this week," he roared across the table. "If you can't control that owl, it'll have to go." He tried yet again to explain. "She's bored," he said. "She's used to flying around outside. If I could just let her out at night." "Do I look stupid?" snarled Uncle Vernon, a bit of fried egg dangling from his bushy moustache. "I know what will happen if the owl's let out." He exchanged dark looks with his wife, Petunia. Harry tried to argue back, but his words were drowned by a long, loud belch from the Dursleys' son, Dudley. "I want more bacon."